Hi everyone, thank you so much for joining another Lead Squared webinar. I work for the marketing team at Lead Squared and we couldn't be happier to have you here today. So we are discussing the CRM and Martech experience. So essentially we want to talk about how to boost customer experience through CRM and Martech. I have a fabulous panel here with me, just a one-liner about each before I allow them to take over. We have Vineet from Paid Puja. He is the VP of Sales there. We have
Hi
Saurabh
guys.
from Diome, who is the CEO there. We have Aman from Sleepy Cat. He is the Chief of Staff. And we have our very own Sridhar, who is the VP of Strategy at Lead Square. So with that, a couple of housekeeping items before I disappear into the background. Please feel free to keep your questions coming. We'd like to have make this session a conversational experience. So any questions, comments, you just want to say hi, feel free to drop that in. We will also pick up any questions you have towards the end of the session. So with that, Sridhar, over to you.
Cool. Thanks, Shibani. Thank you for that wonderful start as always. And first of all, I'd like to thank Saurabh, Aman, and Vineet for taking time out and joining us in this webinar. It's always it's always difficult to take time out from busy schedules and commit 1 hour to somebody else's event. So thank you very much for being a part of Lead Square's webinar. So maybe, while Shibani has given a quick one-liner intro to all of you, maybe can I go across the room and ask each of you to maybe speak about what you do, where you come from, for maybe a couple of minutes each. Maybe Vineet, you'd like to go first.
Yeah, sure. So myself, Vineet Singh, right? So I have been heading sales in Paid Puja for 9 years now. It's been my first job here. I passed out from MDI, right? Then I joined Paid Puja as a senior sales, right? Now I'm heading the entire sales pan India. Not only the sales, but also the back-end operations now I'm looking after. Okay. Right? It's been a good journey here. And of course, every day is a learning year, right? So now we started our journey with the POS. Now we are into a multiple products, right? In this, with the separate team also, right? So this is a quick brief about me and about the Paid Puja and the product.
Wonderful. Thank you, Vineet. Aman?
Cool. Hi, guys. My name is Aman Chabra. As you all would be able to see it on your screen. I am presently working with the Sleepy Cat in the capacity of Chief of Staff. I look after special initiatives, strategic initiatives. These days, I'm helping the brand foray into the offline world by opening retail stores. Right. Prior to this, I have 7 years of work with Swiggy, where I was on the supply side, joined as a sales manager, and eventually in my last stint, I was looking after growth for the food category. Yeah, so that's a quick.
Wonderful, thank you. Good to have you back, Saurabh. He seems to have some glitch. He's popping in and out. Maybe while he joins, I'll quickly. So hi guys, Sridhar here, part of Lead Squared for the last 5 years. Longish career and stint in sales and marketing, looking at the strategy function for Lead Squared currently. Cool. So while Saurabh figures out and joins back, maybe Saurabh is back. Okay. Hi, Saurabh.
Yes. Sorry.
No problem.
Yeah. So I'm Saurabh. I basically work. I had a consulting company called Diome, and we work with brands on helping them with their omni-channel strategy. And I'm very passionate about using growth marketing and data. And I've worked with multiple brands. In the area of online, offline, e-commerce, retail, and even pharma. In past roles, I had worked with companies like Lenskart, Tata.
Oops. I think he's having some connectivity issues, it looks like. Okay, no problem. We'll get back to Saurabh once he has a more steady connect. I think one of the concepts or one of the changes that I'd like to make upfront is, the webinar says boosting customer experience through CRM and Martech. A very key word is missing there, which is omnichannel. Hey, Saurabh, good to have you back. I was not sure if you have a steady or not.
There is some issue which is happening. I don't know. It's taking me back off stage. I don't know. Yeah.
Okay. If you want to take you off stage again, maybe you want to connect with Abhinav offline and sort it out once and then maybe join back. Abhinav, if you're listening to this, please help Saurabh if he does drop off again. Cool. Okay. So yeah, Saurabh, I was just saying that, one word which is critically missing from our webinar topic is boosting customers' omnichannel experience through CRM and Martech, which is what we want to talk about today. And I think I'd like to start off by maybe first defining what omnichannel means, because I think there could be a certain disparity in terms of how people look at that word and look at what it means. So I think it is the ability, fundamentally, an omnichannel experience is the ability to provide your prospects or your customers with a very seamless and consistent brand experience across multiple channels, right? It could be at the point of purchase, it could be during marketing, it could be during service requests. In any of these instances, the experience that you provide your customer across multiple channels, whether it's retail, website, mobile app, through partners, or whatever it could be, the experience has to be consistent, the experience has to be seamless and clear, right? So that's fundamentally what an omnichannel experience means to our customers. And some examples of organizations who do this fantastically are, I think one I could think of at the top of my head is Disney. I mean, if you look at their movies, you look at their series, you look at their theme parks, you look at hotels, wherever you go, it has a very consistent brand experience, and the experience that you expect with anything to do with Disney always delivers, right? Another great example I read about recently was the integration that Target did with Pinterest, right? So they basically integrated the lens feature into their app. And if you saw something on Pinterest that you liked, you could scan it using the lens, identify it was available in stock in Target, order it, and if it was available in a store nearby, you also have the option of going and picking it up, right? So completely seamless experience end to end, and some couple of great examples, I think, of companies who are managing the omnichannel experience well. And again, while these are simple concepts, they sound very nice and it seems very logical, of course, right? I should be able to order online and go pick it up. These are very difficult to execute, and there are multiple, I think, tech stacks that organizations and brands need to deliver such experiences to customers. So before we maybe get down that path, maybe Saurabh, can I touch on your thought process behind what you think has been the development of omnichannel commerce, right? Maybe it's from a global perspective or India perspective. Would love to hear your thoughts on the development of the omnichannel experience.
Yeah. So if we see basically how this commerce is evolving, earlier it was only offline commerce, and with the internet coming in, a lot of commerce started coming in the last 10-15 years. And the first thing which got sold in at least India was railway tickets through irctc.co.in.
Yep.
Okay, and it was the number one website in the world and for Asia for almost 5-6 years. So digital products were easy to sell, and then airline tickets started coming in, movie tickets started coming, and then people started buying. Books was a big category. Then it started with electronics, and then slowly, steadily, it started moving towards everyday items. Now, some things which are less touch and feel are easy to sell. For example, I can buy a T-shirt of 500 rupees online, but a 5,000 rupees T-shirt I will think twice to buy. Okay, and I used to work at Lenskart. See, the specs, we used to see a lot of people going and visiting our online to check out our specs, but they used to go into the store and buy, because the challenge out there is, you have to, there's no standardization of size. There is a number thing. You have to get an eye test done. So while people are spending 6.5 hours on an average online and 2.5 hours on social media, there is a huge online presence or influence happening. And for certain categories which are difficult to touch and feel, and people want to check out, like jewelry, like if you want to buy 6 lakh rupees jewelry, you can check out the designs online, but you have to go offline. So there is a huge online offline influence. But to me, omni-channel has three aspects. One is the marketing aspects, like you see ads on multiple platforms, TV, Instagram. So that is one omni-channel definition, which is like everywhere. The second is omni-channel sales, that you are selling online, offline, stores, marketplace. And third is the service aspect of omni-channel, where you can get serviced anywhere. Like you can call them and get serviced. You can go to the website, or you can visit a store. So sales, service, and marketing, all three together, when a brand starts delivering, it's a true, fully omni-channel experience.
Cool. So thank you so much, Saurabh. I think that does give a good insight. Aman, any follow-up thoughts on what Saurabh spoke about?
Yeah, I think I completely echo Saurabh's thoughts, right? And ever since the evolution of the industry, right, where it has moved from offline to online with e-commerce players coming in, something that has that I have particularly seen change, and I'm sure we all must agree that the speed of delivery, the expectation on that,
it's really come down.
Because right, and earlier when we used to stand in lines to buy tickets, then they were available on IRCTC, and today food is coming to you in 10 minutes. So to ensure that all of this works seamlessly, and the customer is aware of the delivery and is aware of the delivery and is fully updated on each and every touch point. I think that's very important, and that's where CRM systems sort of play a huge role, keeping the customers updated.
Right.
It goes on from there.
Yeah, cool. Thanks, Aman. And Vineet, I know you bring a slightly different perspective. I think we have actually we have somebody from B2C, we have somebody from the consulting domain, and I know you come from the world of B2B, B2B, B2C sort of a world. Would love to hear your thoughts on this as well.
Okay. Thanks, Sridhar. So my thought is something different, right? Because I had a sales and then we are from the
Sure.
SaaS-based product. Right?
Yep.
So SaaS-based product majorly, right? So being into a SaaS-based product, providing a cohesive customer experience is very necessary now, right? And in our case, omnichannel has been a part, right? It's not only a purely digital, a complete mixture of marketing or sales suits allow us not only a proper attribution but also a handhold to the customer. We are into a service industry, right, where we need to keep on upgrading us, and these insights we are only get from these through the omni-channel, which is a marketing, then the sales for representative available in the market, and the of course our competitors or the partners in the market. So this is how our journey derived in this omni-channel.
Cool. Thanks, Vineet. So, like you're saying, and you mentioned a great point, Aman, that, as time goes by, the time taken to deliver stuff has reduced so much, right? Which basically ties in a lot with the customer expectations today, that in today's landscape. And if you look at India specifically, there's a huge demographic shift happening. And I mean, people have been talking about it forever, but it's true that 50% of our economy today, 50% of our population is less than 25 years old, right? So with this change in demography, change in the participation of multiple economic tiers, tier 1, tier 2, tier 3 cities who are coming into and expecting a certain level of service, expecting certain customer experiences from people that they interact with, right? I think there's been an evolving customer expectation landscape, right? So maybe, Aman, if you can talk to me about what your observations have been in the whole offline to online space, because Sleepycat, does have an offline entity which has fairly been around for multiple years, and you yourself are part of the new modern organization. So maybe you can touch on what you're seeing from customer expectation perspective.
Yeah, sure. So like I was saying earlier, speed is something that people are very gung-ho about, right? They want to just appear at their house and they don't want to sort of wait for the delivery to actually happen. Right?
Yep.
And what we've seen is in the online space is that there are two parts to it, right? One is speed of delivery, right? First, the last mile to the customer's house, and then there are also cases where a reverse logistic affair sort of needs to kick in, right?
Right. Return.
And on all fronts, right? Speed is very important. Something that we've seen in our business, particularly where again there are no standardization. There's no standardization, right? That leads to some amount of delay in terms of taking and processing an order.
Right.
And what we've done is that in our system, we have tried to incorporate a process where after the purchase has been made, right, and in order to ensure that there is no return eventually, right, there's a customer executive team that comes into play to sort of confirm the sizes, right, and this works when we are online completely, right, and that's more of a tactical solve to the problem. A strategic solve to that problem is, given the category that we are in, it's a touch and feel category. Like Saurabh earlier mentioned that with t-shirts you can just buy them online, right? And there is standardization in terms of size that does not exist in our industry per se.
Right.
And a strategic initiative is going offline, keep bringing the experience of the product to the customer in their market, right, where it is closest available to them, right, where they can just come in and carry it back, right? Now, from an online perspective, speed of delivery, which has always been a challenge, like I mentioned, we've been able to solve that by partnering with delivery partners who give you access to geographies, right, where let's say e-commerce also struggles. But something that we've also seen on our way is that there are smaller pin codes, right, across India, where the big companies don't really work out, right? Because they don't understand maybe the local language, or they don't understand the local routes, right? And one thing that has worked for us is that finding a local partner, let's say a place like Guwahati, right, on further northeast or in Jammu and Kashmir, we have tied up with local delivery partners that have helped us execute faster, right, and reach the customer in a time frame that most people are unable to sort of manage.
Got it.
That's primarily from a point of view of delivering the product to the customer, something on the lines of reverse logistics, right? And a lot of our competition have not been able to figure it out, right? We have again come up with a process where these reverse logistics have been solved for the customer to such an extent that when our competitor is doing it in 3 to 5 days, we've been able to bring it down under a day and two.
Oh, that's
Right?
amazing. Okay.
And the strength to sort of do this or pull this initiative off, while there are certain internal processes, what has also helped us is the CRM system that we use.
Got
Right?
it.
Basically tells us how customer pain we have a better sense of that at a pin code level, which we earlier didn't know of.
Got it. Got it. Got it. And I think, it's interesting point where logistics plays such a key role in your industry. I'm sure training, partnering with those guys, making them understand what your brand experience stands for, providing them with the right tech stack, so to speak, it becomes very important for the experience of the logistics guy himself when he interacts with the customer, because that's ultimately not in your control, right?
Right.
Got it. Cool. And Vineet, from a B2B perspective, how have customer expectations changed in terms of, what they're looking for in terms of buying and receiving services, whether it's from vendors or through partners? I'm sure there's been there's been a lot of evolution in this, right? Like buying
Yep.
have shifted
So,
significantly online. So would love to hear your views.
okay. So I'm damn sure so one can write a case study on Paytm and then their client expectation, because every quarter it's keep on changing. See, the
Yep.
technology is changing so much, right? If we start when we started in back in 2015, right? Initially, the problem was these cloud-based softwares that is not available in the market because everyone was catering into this server-based solution, right?
Right.
Then and that was not helping the clients or merchant to track or their sales or operations. Then we came up with this idea of cloud-based solution. Once that is solved, they came up with that the only challenge to fight the competition. The merchant used to not able to fight the competition due to the lack of their data. So one simple step what we resolved by collecting an e-bill. So we gave them option on e-bill. So we asked the clients not to generate a bills that is a paper bill, right? We asked them to collect the customer's number and shoot the bill on their mobile itself. Right? They started doing, and they seamlessly they have started collecting a good amount of data, which is again a theme for them,
Yeah.
right? Then after that, in 2016, that there was a one challenge when you earlier used to go on the restaurant, there were multiple system over there. One was there for their online deliveries, which was Food Panda back then. Then their own orders, which was a fine dine or the takeaway order. Right? They have to have a multiple system. Now the space is very limited and they have to keep a multiple system over there. So what we have done, we incorporated all those features and we tied up with integrated with we were the first in Pioneer to integrate the system with Food Panda, and then of course with Zomato and Swiggy, right? So the customer gave one screen. We gave the customer one screen where they can manage their own order, whether it's a delivery, whether it's a pickup or the Zomato Swiggy, right? And over the period, the demands get changed because the technologies, there's new partners in line, right? And recently, we are now helping them to maintain their inventory through our invoicing. However, with this and the staffing management, of course, the payroll, right? So currently in India, if you see the payroll, someone is providing the payroll, they are only targeting the enterprise level. No one is looking after the SMB. So we came up with this payroll for the SMB, where not only the staffing but the salary can be calculated, and the hardware is the part of the software now. Right? So they not need to buy a hardware separate and the software separate, because end of the day they have to contact two companies when there is a glitch or the issue is happening. Now in that case, Paid is a whole soul where they can get our data. So this is how it's, and in our industry, the one line, if I say in one liner, the client is like, don't suggest me a solution, build a solution. It's how they work.
Got it. Yeah, and I think in your space as well, and true of any B2B organization, is whatever you can do which improves your customers' experience, that is fundamentally key to the solution as well. Cool. Thanks so much, Vineet, for that viewpoint. And Saurabh, in your consulting role, I'm sure you've worked with multiple organizations on how they can transition or how they can deploy an omnichannel experience. So why do you think is it fundamentally important? What does it do? How does it elevate the customer's journey? What impact can it have on revenue? If you have a view on that.
So, we can break down the companies into two fundamental natures, like in the channel which they were born. So if you see companies like Shopper Stop, Lifestyles were born in offline, and then they are expanding online because they see that the customers are spending time online and they want the people to come there. And there are companies who were built online and then they are trying to expand offline. See, whatever the buzzword around online is there, the spend in pure online area is less than 10% of the total commerce.
Hmm.
But there is a huge amount of influence which is happening. So the convergence, like some wise men said that all companies will be omni-channel in few years or they will cease to exist.
Yeah.
So that is the true reality which is happening. So if I say like jewelry companies, okay, jewelry is very hard to sell online. But what there is a sweet spot that the affordable jewelry or silver jewelry, which is more of fashion jewelry, which is at a price point of 2 to 3,000 rupees, is selling very heavily online because people are ready to go buy and check out and try and then do it. So that's like a pure thing. But when they said that we have to go and up our AOVs, and especially if you see examples like Carrot Lane, what they started is they started saying like where they were AOVs were around 10,000 to 15,000. They started sending people at home who will bring in some designs and they can choose and they can try out and then they can buy. So it's not even like there is a store experience or there is a online experience. There is something in between also.
Hmm.
And while we were working with some of these brands which cannot be pure online and cannot scale beyond,
Mhm.
we found that this space of assisted sales is a huge thing.
Right.
Like at Lenskart also we had seen, and at multiple companies we had seen that people need a call. Like people will add to cart and then they will drop off. So you give them a call and say, okay, what is the question you have? How
Mhm.
can I help you? And it's almost like a lead management. Okay, and we see a lot happening in edtech. We see it happening here, and I think so. Lead Square has a very good solution which can manage this funnel. This funnel used to be more B2B. Now it's like a B2C, but with high ticket items and where people need some hand holding.
Right. Right. Got it.
So I see that there is a huge emergence of this set. Like the next e-commerce will be around anywhere like 5,000 to 25,000 or 1 lakh rupees item people who want to buy, but they want some assistance across.
Got it. Yeah.
And technology is able to solve it. Sorry, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's sort of bringing the experience pretty much to your doorstep, right? That's what you're talking about. The brand is able to bring its experience to the doorstep, and I think that's fundamentally a huge value add for a purchaser as well. I was just thinking about the fact that there's so many evolving expectations and changes that are happening in the segment. It obviously becomes very important to know what your customer wants, right? Where have they been before they have actually reached out to you on a phone call or come to your website? What other properties, so-called, digital or online or offline properties that you may have, where all has the customer actually, what touch points has he interacted with, what is his prior experience with you, and sort of all this data about customer becomes very important, right? And traditionally, if you see CRMs or Martech stacks or CDPs and such solutions have been actually trying to figure out what is the right time to actually nudge a customer, how do you get in touch with the customer, right? So do you have any view on how these technologies can actually help creating better customer experiences? Maybe Vineet, I can start with you, and then Aman, you can share your views as well.
Sure. Okay. So see, Sridhar, so right now we are serving around 80,000 clients, right, which is our existing client, right, with 4 unique products. And every product has a separate team, of course, with a training and support team. Now, in our case, these tools, whether you say the marketing or the CRM, it's a necessity now, right, to monitor not only the clients but also the teams, to monitor whether to receive a call or to generate any campaigns for every product with a specific gap and defined time. In a SaaS setting, right, neither CRM or marketing alone is a good enough for awareness about a product or use cases. Hence, a unified solution reaches customer using both channel is very necessary, right? This is how we are out monitoring. And if we talk about how we are dealing is right now with thanks to Lead Square, what we are doing right now, from not only from the leads which is generated from the sales team, but generating that lead to the foreclosure, right? That is how we are generating through marketing and the CRM module, right? What we are doing in paid puja.
Okay, cool. Aman, you want to talk about the confluence of all these various technologies and general observations?
Sure. I can pick up an anecdote from my time at Swiggy, right?
Sure.
We sort of had our own internal CRM, right?
Yeah.
And you brought up an interesting point where you said that it's very important to know when to reach out to a customer.
Yep.
Right, and that will vary across different industries. Like, for example, in a food industry, you may want to reach out to a customer to obviously service on the post sale experience front, maybe in a day's time, right? But in a mattress industry, right, we give a 100-night trial, right? have 100 nights open before
Yeah.
we want to reach out to the customer, right? To see if there is any change that we can make for them, which basically improves their experience, right? So in my time at Swiggy, what we realized was that a lot of, let's say, restaurants that were affordable in the affordable segment, right? Were typically restaurants that would get ordered a lot.
Okay.
Right? And the app was built in a way to obviously optimize for conversions, right? And these restaurants which had a higher click rate or higher conversion would largely, or higher order value or volume would generally appear higher up in the listing, which would in turn get them to get more
Get
orders.
more orders, yeah, right.
These restaurants which are affordable probably didn't have the right amount of tech savviness or understanding of how e-commerce or food tech sort of work, that they used to send us very basic catalog, right? And that catalog, they wouldn't even highlight if that item is supposed to be spicy or non-spicy, right? They wouldn't tell us if what the item basically looks like, right, through a picture. And over time, we sort of came up with mechanisms to bulk solve this for restaurants, right, by doing catalog excellence work, right? And that was only able to do that because we had extensive amount of customer data which told us what that restaurant's best selling products were, right? Where we could add pictures, what were the worst selling products or worst rated products, right? And why were they not selling, right? Was it a quantity problem? Was it a quality problem? Right? Was it a packaging problem? Right? So with all of that data and in extensive customer survey and feedback that we used to capture, we were able to bulk solve, right, customer experience for obviously a large part on the platform. And that in turn had a spillover effect, right? That first on the platform, it showed in terms of the customers, the restaurant's rating moving up, right? Because now we were nudging the customer to order the right product with the right information, right? That spillover impact in terms of the restaurant's offline sales, because they took the learning from online and then they adopted it in their offline world, where they started doing those very basic nuances or adaptations to their menu, right, which basically improve their conversion and experience in the retail offline stores as well.
No, that's a great example. I think recently also, I think Zomato has launched something on the rating side where they are actually going to show you ratings of a restaurant near you, rated by people near you. Because I think the value add insight they got is the fact that when the food travels a longer distance, quality drops, and therefore the guy was getting poorer ratings. So I think these are fundamental. I mean, this is a brilliant thought process, right? To actually imagine that I should rate it for that particular segment or circle.
Correct.
Got it. Saurabh, any example that you'd like to talk about? Sorry, Vineet, you have raised your hand. Maybe I can quickly jump in. Yeah.
No, I think Saurabh can first.
Okay, please go ahead, Saurabh.
Yep. So I think so the use of MarTech is very critical in the omni-channel space because when there is pure online, you can use tools like Adobe, Google, and all to know the customer journey from the entry to exit. In the pure store world, the only thing people used to get is an order when the order comes in, and that's like a simple thing that, okay, I ordered this rupees, that single row. But in an online thing, just for an order, you might get a 10 GB data from the browsing history with the 2% conversion. Everybody's information is there. So the omni-channel customer journey tracking is very, very key. Okay, so Virender talked about taking phone numbers of the people who are eating. Like most of the shopping in offline world used to happen anonymously earlier. Okay, they started digitizing it online because you have to deliver something, so that happens. So knowing the customer journey starts with knowing the customer at every place. And the bigger thing is to know people who are not customers or who are leads. Okay. So in online also people used to get an app download and then you force the install and get the login, so you get the phone numbers. So offline also we has to try to figure out ways to get in the phone number, whether you use QR and all, and then capture that information in the system and then nurture the lead. So to me, MarTech is there across. So when I say MarTech, it's like marketing technology. So marketing starts with getting to know people and then retargeting them with the choices. Reviews and rating has a huge importance for social proofing when they're buying or doing it. So, and the good part is there is too much of tools and technique available today. How do you stitch together? In fact, the problem is there are too many tools, and then making sure all of them work together is very, very key.
Not sure of the others, but I think I lost Saurabh. Can you guys hear him?
No.
No.
Okay. Saurabh, sorry, we couldn't hear you for the last 20 seconds.
Right now, prompter showing that you're on mute.
Yeah, it shows that you're on mute. I think you've pressed mute by mistake. Yeah, you're unmuted now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry. What I'm saying, last thing which I wanted to say, like, what Page Puja has done has integrated all the features you need, and it's like an restaurant operating system, and it makes it easy. So there is a scope for getting the perfect product out, but in many cases you can use point solutions, which can be available at $10 per month and stitch it. So to me, one big opportunity is pitching the omni-channel customer journey and then playing around it.
Yeah. I'll come back to that point. Vineet, you had something you want to.
Yep. So Sridhar, I would like to introduce one point right here. Like, so what we are doing, right? So R is mostly we are doing upselling also, right? So we have a two teams, separate team. One is the who goes on the field and gets a new merchant, and there's a backend team who does the upselling thing. Now,
Right.
since we have a four different products and various other value-added services, so this Martech and the CRM, how they helped us, right? What happened is initially what when I think back into 21 or 22, when we are using another CRM, right? So what was happening is like we used to give a n number of campaigns to one single customer, right? And every day in the morning, he used to receive a message from. So what he used to do, he used to block a paid puja, and even the information is informative, right? He is not able to see it. So what with these tools, right? What benefit it gets to the paid puja, right? We have a target audience, then we have a segment audience, and we
Right.
have a segmented time also.
Mhm.
Right, so that if a customer has received any information in this month, he will not receive the entire month. He will not receive any, not only the message or WhatsApp campaign, but also the call, right? Because now on my screen, it's like this particular guy has given him call on like last Thursday, so it's come into the connect, do not touch, right?
Yeah.
That is their comment on there. So
Yeah.
this also help us into the customer experience. So whenever we are into the field and we meet our customer, they used to only think, यार आपकी तरफ से मैसेज बहुत आता है, and that is only pain point when the people gets irritated, and even the useful messages were like they are ignoring him. So with
Right.
these tools, with the effective martech and the CRM, that is benefit now. We are generating now even in the backend also. If we say if we are posting any campaigns, we are getting 500 plus likes now and interested, right? That is how we have started doing it now. So if any of the campaign has been shoot in this month, that customer will be eliminated for next 2 months, right? And after we'll touch with, and this is how we are doing right now in this, and it's a very good example here for especially for this SaaS base.
Yeah, I think these points give me a very good segue into a slightly different thread that we're talking about, right? That knowing when to intervene, that judgment call is something that people are sort of hard coding and sort of building today in their systems, knowing which stack to use at what point in time, which brings us to a very interesting point of AI, right? You can't have any conversation today without talking about AI. So I think there is a thread where we're talking about how AI can intervene in this omnichannel experience, because then you have a system which is looking at a lot of data points that it already has, building on top of it, and then deciding for you where it will intervene with your prospect or where it will intervene with your customer. So have you guys seen any applications of AI in developing this whole omnichannel experience, or any one of you can pick this thread up? If you have seen any examples, would love to hear about it.
Okay. I would like to have. So we recently launched an application. It's an invoice, right? So what happened is like whenever you used to meet the clients, they are. So see, in restaurant industry, one thing is very much needed. That is inventory, right?
Right.
They goes out of stock, and they do not make themselves out of stock on different portals, and they have kept on receiving orders. So that is how they are. And even the theft at the restaurant is the biggest step is on to the inventory part. So what we have done, we came up with this help of this different channels, right? We came up with this feature like invoice. Like you just need to scan the bills, all the purchases will be pre-uploaded, digitized into your inventory. So your inventory will be, and the second problem was the manpower. So you hire a guy today, and tomorrow he might leave you, right? And there will be transition time, and you will be hiring a second person, right? So what we in this case, you just even the owner can click the big pick of that bill the from the vendors what he have received, right? So even and now if we say that we have also did integration with the Hyperpure also. So any bill coming from the Hyperpure, you just need to click the bill, and everything will be uploaded in the inventory.
Got it.
Right. This is how we are doing it in Paid Puja right now.
Cool. Any other examples, Aman, Saurabh, on what you might have seen in terms of AI and its applications in omnichannel experience? Sure, sir.
See, so the application of AI is immense. We talked first about cataloging is a key thing. So cataloging is very poor generally, and you see a lot of AI assisted cataloging is happening, which makes it easier and which is more SEO optimized.
Sorry, Saurabh, sorry to interrupt you, but not very clear. There's a bit of disturbance. You might want to unmute yourself.
Yeah, am I audible now?
Still a little faintly, but yeah, it's better.
Am I audible now? No.
Yes, beautiful. Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So what I was saying is there are the application of AI, especially in cataloging, is very big because people are very poor at cataloging, and just by the name and they are able to, with using AI, we can do SEO optimized, and it can extract features from the image and put it into this thing. It's a big application. People on Shopify, Amazon Marketplace, everyone is doing it. The other is on the customer service, like how do we create interactive conversational bots. That's another big area which is able to solve. People used to start with very dialogue flow and query based systems. And the third big area which I see is in the content and marketing side, and that has been like 40% impact, whether you are creating images, you're creating photo shoots, you're creating videos is not so great right now, but songs and all. So marketing will be a very big area, plus content cataloging, and then matching the need. So I see this but I'm super excited with the way on content which is happening.
Got it. Yeah, I think that's pretty cool as well. And I was reading this example of Sephora, right, which is into cosmetics. And if you look at what they managed to do through their omnichannel experience that you can talk about, because what you might see as beauty tips in their online or mobile content, what you see over there, the kind of equipment that you see there, sorry, not equipment, the wrong word probably, but the kind of products that you see over there, and the in-brand experience that you have, the in-store experience that you have, right? The salespeople talking about the same beauty tips, and the whole experience there is extremely seamless, which is driven a lot by a lot of data crunching and analytics happening at the back end, right? So that's something that's been fantastic to see as well. So while I think we are coming towards the end of our time as well, maybe if I can ask each of you to talk about maybe one omnichannel sort of an experience or initiative that you might have worked on personally in the recent past or in your previous organizations. What went well, and what is a mistake that you would not like to repeat? Right? Because this is something, like I mentioned, it's very, very difficult to get right? I mean, it's very difficult for us as individuals to be the same person, behave well in office, behave well at home, behave well with friends, etc. Right? There is always breakdown that happens at an individual's level. As a brand, with thousands of people in your employ, with different partners, with different experiences, it's obviously very difficult to pull off a very consistent experience. So if you can talk about some initiative that you guys might have led and the mistakes or the learnings that you got from that, would be lovely to hear about that.
Okay. I'll start with the first of the mistake.
Sure,
right?
Yeah.
So India is if I talk not only in the paid puja, but in India also. So everything is manual, right? Even today also, many of the co-founders I have seen in talking them that ye kar lena, because they have that habit of doing a manual task. So I used to started avoiding it, that manual task from 2018, and like started using various platforms even for the marketing. Back then it was like word of mouth was one of the best tool which we used to say that is best of the marketing campaign what the India has. But now there is a different channel for that, right? So previously sales was all about closures and revenue. So what I want to introduce in, see, the first stage touch base is our sales team, and that team is usually start calling. So we have started implementing that. They are like my demo omni-channel now. So we started calling them a demo omni-channel, right? They not only touch base with new merchant, but also with the existing client for upselling. Now, these are the leads which we are going to generate, and not only for the upselling or for the current. They might be our future also. They might be a future prospect. So by using, so we have started implementing in all across the departments. So we have started implementing a proper CRM system, and with the dialer. So in our use case, recently what we did in paid puja, so we were using lead square, but we were not using the dialer. So what we did, we incorporated, integrated the dialer with the CRM. Now everything is called recorded and pre-entered in the LS, which is now I'm getting actual data what I need to be working right now or for the future. So based on that, we are now generating a campaigns. That is how we take the new initiative now in paid puja.
Got it. Saurabh, Vinny, sorry, Aman.
Yeah, I have a very sort of a small use case, right?
Sure.
Since I've recently joined a D2C brand, what I've seen is that in an omni-channel scenario where we have retail and we have online, right? And online we have marketplaces and we have our own website.
Yeah.
Right? And recently started retail, right? So, I think somebody mentioned that it has always been a very manual process to get things done, right?
Mm.
And until the point we had some sort of a software, now it's Lead Square, right? Which is sort of helping us sort of manage a lot of these problems, right? A lot of use cases that we used to have are now being addressed by Lead Square, where we are able to aggregate all our customer data at one place, right? We are able to identify which channel they came from. We're able to identify if something went wrong, and the quantum of mistakes that are done at a channel level, right? And how do you sort of address that? So I think a software being in place largely solves for a lot of things, right? And how these two customers who are online and offline are very different and require very different sort of expertise to be used to sort of address concerns wherever there are any. So I think very simple here, but I think the softwares really have given us a lot of strength to sort of manage these layout queries.
Got it. Cool. Saurabh, anything from your experience?
Yeah.
I think a mistake.
So I think so. We covered. Am I audible right? Okay.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, so what I will touch upon is not technology and campaigns. I'll touch upon culture. Okay, so to me, omni-channel is a huge mindset culture, and I'll tell you two examples. Okay, recently I visited a kids store, which is an omni-channel brand, and I was trying to check the prices online for the stuff which was there, and the store staff came and said, "Sir, यहाँ पे ना you cannot use the phone. We don't allow
You
you to
cannot use the
scan
phone.
the thing out there." Okay, so he told me to stop. Okay, so to me that was such a bad experience. I was not opening up Amazon app. I was opening his app online and checking, do are there more variants or sizes available. But he really said. Now I went deep into it, and I understood that he was a franchisee. They didn't want a cannibalization of online sale into this. So the problem here is, and there's a second example. Okay, I visited another men's garment store, and what I found is the pricing online was cheaper of the same product. And I asked the gentleman out there कि ऐसा क्यों हो रहा है. He said कि सर ना वो पुराना स्टॉक होगा ऑनलाइन ना. ऑनलाइन में मजा नहीं आएगा, आप यहीं से लो. यहाँ का जो बिकता नहीं है वो 2 साल पुराना 1 साल पुराना. So now what this is happening is, you are cutting your own hand.
Yep.
So what you do is you demean your own online channel, and then you let people go and go to the competition if they don't buy here. So to me, thinking one brand that all channels are yours, and if a person comes back or goes online also is there. And to me, a big part of it is also the incentive programs you create. Okay, a lot of times he said this is online team, this is assisted sales team, this is this, and you can fight against each other and let them competition win. So to me, the one company mindset is a key thing. One brand is key thing, and also having uniform pricing. At least try to maintain uniform pricing, or have policies to differentiate. And if somebody complains, you just give it, like it happens in US. So to me, culture, omni-channel culture and mindset is a big piece, especially when there is huge amount of people at stores. Say a company has say 500 stores, each store has 3 people. If you don't have a culture out there, you will kill your own online offline brand.
Yeah, absolutely, Saurabh, and I could not agree more with the point on how you incentivize your people, because I think somebody put it very well. You show me your incentives and I'll tell you what's the outcome. Right? Because that is ultimately what drives people, and I think that's a brilliant point as well. Cool.
And on incentives, you could also create an omni-channel incentive.
Sure.
Okay, and this is something I've worked in one project.
That's a subject for a webinar by itself, I feel.
Yeah.
Cool. Thank you so much, Saurabh, Aman, Vineet. So we are at the end of the allotted time that we have. If there's any other points, I would love to hear from you. Otherwise, maybe we can have a quick look at if there's questions that have been floated up. I do see a few questions here. Let me just see what I can spot. Okay, I have a question is how can we automate our systems to integrate seamlessly with both website and marketplace operations across different states? Saurabh, Aman, if you guys have had some experience around this, would you like to see?
When you want to go?
I think for us, LeadQuad has been a huge help, right? And
Thanks for the multiple plugins, but yeah, cool.
no, actually, because in my limited experience, right, and after and given whatever limited experience I have, after going through the landscape of everything that is available as an option, right, LeadSquared sort of shined out, and kudos to the onboarding team on your side, right. Sahil and Archit, I believe, those are the two guys, right? They really helped us out to sort of set the system up, and ever since then, the team that we have in house, the customer experience team, has sort of become more structured in terms of their management, time management, their output, their performance, right? How NPS has been moving up, right? So I think the system has really supported us there.
That's wonderful to hear, Aman. I mean, we'll certainly reach out to you offline for this as well, but that's great to hear. Another question that we have online, I think, Saurabh, I would definitely address this to you in your role as a consultant, is what are your perspectives on the build versus buy dilemma when it comes to MarTech solutions for improving customer experience? And I think it's a very good question because a lot of companies and brands feel that what they know and what they want to deliver, only they know, and it has to be custom built, right? And it's a very good viewpoint. It's a very solid viewpoint as well. But what's your view on this?
So I'll ask a question before answering to the person is, what stage of the company you are and how much funded are you?
Right.
Okay, so I have been a build guy. I have moved to being a buy guy. Okay,
Right.
so when I was at Amex, I used to build MarTech solutions
Mhm.
because it was a very custom need. We had huge scale. We had to customize it for our experience and all. So the question generally, when it's the first time you're getting into it, it's always to me it's simple, no brainer. It's a buy. You
Right.
learn, use, understand, and then once you have used 80% of the functionality, and then you are limited that I need this customization, that customization, then you take the build route. So
Right.
for example, companies like Flipkart or Meesho and all, after they have attained a certain skill, they start building it because they want to be
Yeah.
proprietary in their own systems. So
Yeah.
to me, it's a big question on your stage and what do you want, why do you want to build.
Mhm.
Like to do a me too, like you can implement it in 2 weeks versus you can build it in 6 months, and that to one third of the functionality.
Mhm.
So yeah, that
No, I think it's a
that's
great
where I will.
viewpoint to address the build versus buy question from the stage of organization or maturity of the function. I think that's a wonderful way of looking at the build versus buy. Of course, there are other long-term costs, and if you're willing to do that, make that tech investment, people investment, and all of that, that's a different point of view as well. I think on that, on the
You
build.
see, Amazon did a build of the database. They replaced Oracle. They built something like the Redshift, and from there AWS came in. So, but they were on Oracle. They worked with it. They were frustrated. They wanted to build their own tech, and that's how they were born.
But that
So,
was at Amazon scale.
yeah. So you have to have that scale and the muscle power and that mindset.
Got it. Got it. Cool. I think that's what we have in terms of questions today. It's been a great session. If there's anybody else with any questions, please feel free to pop it up. We'd be happy to take it now. Otherwise, thank you, Aman, Vineet, Saurabh. Great having you guys online again. And like I said, thank you so much for taking time off from your schedules to join an eSquared webinar. I hope we can return the favor sometime. Thank you so much for participating. I don't.
Thank you very
Thank
much,
you.
guys.
Thank you for
My
having me.
pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, guys. Thank you. We'll close this now.
Thank you.
Thank you.